All right, greetings, friends. This is week 5 of our course on spiritual formation through the art of the Psalms. Last week, you wrote Psalms of Lament. This week, you are writing Psalms of Imprecation. And I thought I would do a little book rec recording here and do it for your benefit and for the benefit of anybody else who might find it useful. So on the topic of lament, Soon-Chan Ra, my colleague at Fuller Seminary, wrote a book called Prophetic Lament, a call for justice in troubled times. This is his sort of reflection commentary on the book of Lamentations, bringing the topic of lament into conversation with the topic of justice. Clarissa Mole and her daughter Fiona Mole, Hurt, Help, Hope. Real conversation about teen grief and life after loss. So Clarissa, she lost her husband, Rob, Fiona's father. And so they wrote a book together, which is a wonderful gift to have a teenager to be able to have an authorial voice on the experience of loss and grief and what it means to live in the aftermath of that kind of awful, awful loss. Nicholas Wolterstorff's Lament for a Son is probably the single best book on the topic of lament, something he wrote, Wolterstorff wrote in the aftermath of the death of his son. It's just exquisite writing and then heartrending to read, but so beautiful, so powerful. Let me do sort of some kids books. Brittany Wynn Lee, the boy with big feelings. I read this to my son on a regular basis. I cannot more highly recommend it if you have kids with big feelings or if you have big feelings. Christina Fox, Tell God How You Feel. Helping kids with hard emotions. It's wonderful insight for you as a parent and for kids to know what to do with their emotions. Corey Dorfeld's book, The Rabbit Listened, is a wonderful book about how different ones of his Stuffy's animals offer different kinds of solutions to a hard moment, but it is a rabbit who does the best service to this beautiful little boy by simply being with him, practicing the presence, the ministry of presence. And what a wonderful gift for children, but also for adults. And then Big Feeling Days, a book about hard things and heavy emotions and Jesus' love by Aubrey Sampson. Another one that's just a wonderful gift for children and adults to process all their feelings, very much attuned to the Psalms. And then moving over to imprecatory Psalms, I write about this in Open and Unafraid in my chapters on Psalms of Anger, Psalms of Enemies. But Melissa Flora Bixler wrote a book called How to Have an Enemy, Righteous Anger and the Work of Peace. A really good, important book. This is not a Christian book, but fascinating. What the F? What swearing reveals about our language, our brains, and ourselves. So if you've read my book on the Psalms of Anger, you know that I make a case that kind of imprecatory language overlaps with the language of profane language. And so I read a lot on the topic. It was very fascinating. Daniel Michael Nerbos, Praying Curses, the therapeutic preaching value of the imprecatory psalm. So if you don't know what to do with it in devotional or corporate life, then this book would be a helpful one for you. Lida Bassett, I think that's how you say her name. She's a Swiss theologian pastor. Wrote a book called Holy Anger, Jacob, Job, and Jesus. A really kind of thoroughgoing, substantive treatment of that topic. And then probably the single best treatment of Psalm 137 from a non-biblical scholarly perspective is David Stowe, The Enduring Mystery of Psalm 137 in his book titled Song of Exile. So if you want just a really extraordinary historical perspective, cultural perspective, literary perspective, artistic, poetic perspective on Psalm 137, one of the most poignant and powerful imprecatory psalms, then David Stowe's book is for you. So here we go. A brief-ish recommendation of books, in addition to all the other books that I mentioned in my own book on the Psalms and a host of other wonderful resources. But these may be less common, less known, but still, I think, valuable for very specific circumstances, including all the ones related to kids. And as we as parents help our children, perhaps we in turn might also be helped. So there you go, some resources in addition to the ones you already have that might help you to enter more fully into the Psalms of Lament and Imprecation.